Hey everybody, when it comes to hammocks, especially camping, sleeping overnight comfortably, there's a few companies that make the best hammocks. There's companies like Dream Hammock that has the Sparrow and the Darien. Then there's War Bonnet Outdoors that has the Blackbird. And the Ridge Runner. And also Dutchware Gear that has a Chameleon and the half-wood hammock. Then you have a small cottage company named Superior Gear that makes a great hammock called the Superior Hammock that has a built-in underquilt that you never have to adjust. It is perfectly fitted underneath you to keep you nice and toasty warm. Now Danny, the owner of Superior Gear, has a lesser-known hammock called the Starlight. Not only is it a great tag team with its big brother, the Superior Hammock, for those hot summer nights, but also I believe it's one of the best hammocks for someone starting out getting into hammock camping. Now before we get started, I want you to know I am not being paid by Superior Gear. This is my honest review. I've had this hammock for 2 years now, and my loyalty does not belong to any company but to you as a viewer. So let's get started. First, let's look at some of the basic specs of this unique hammock. It comes in a 10-footer or 11-footer in length, and the width is 58 inches or 148 centimeters. Now this is a double layer hammock, and what's nice with a double layer hammock is if one layer happens to tear, for whatever reason, you still have another layer to support you. And also when you're inside, it's easier to shift around to find that sweet spot. And with a special request and a small fee, you can have an opening made on one end that's large and the other end that's small, so you can slide a mat or a mattress in it. Now there's two different models that he makes at this time of filming. The first is a standard, which has 90 argon on the bottom fabric, and the top fabric is 1.6 Hyper D, and it has a weight capacity of 350 pounds, which is 158 kilograms, and it only weighs 18 ounces, which is 510 grams. And the other model is this Elite Starlight, which is made out of 67 argon on the bottom, and the top fabric is 1.2 Hexon. And it has a weight capacity of 250 pounds, which is 113 kilograms, and it only weighs 13 ounces, which is 368 grams. Now I believe this is the lightest two-layer hammock on the market, and Danny's even planning on making one even lighter that will bring down the weight and bulk without sacrificing strength and comfort. It not only comes with a ridgeline, but an adjustable ridgeline to allow you to adjust the sag of the hammock. You tighten the ridgeline by pinching on the end of the whoopee sling, by pulling on that loose tag on the end. This will give you a deeper sag. Then you pinch the other end, pull the cordage that is going through the other. This will give you a flatter sag. Try experimenting with the different sags to find out which one works best for you.
I think I found that sweet spot. Oh man, this is comfy.
It comes with a double zipper on each side and a snap-on system that makes this a versatile hammock. And it comes with a stuff sack that has 2 carabiners attached to it, and you clip it onto the ridgeline, and it acts like a ridgeline organizer or a storage for items. Voila! Now these are the basic features for the Starlight and the Starlight Elite that makes it a versatile, good hammock. But what makes it a great hammock is the options. Now the first option we're going to look at is the bug net. Danny not only has one style of bug net, but 2. And the first one we're going to look at is a full-length bug net for complete and all-around protection from those biting insects. To put it on, you first drape it over the ridgeline, and on each end of the hammock is a piece of shock cord that forms a loop. And on each end of the bug net are little clips that you hook onto the shock cord. Then you lift the material on the end and locate the zippers. Match the two zippers. If they don't match, then flip the bug net over. Then zip one side, then the other. Then go to the other end and do the same. And have all four zippers meet in the middle. Now it's totally enclosed. This full bug net weighs only 5 ounces, 141 grams. And for the half bug net, you do the same as a full bug net, except for the full bug net goes over the ridge line, but the half bug net, it goes under the ridge line. And you set it up the same way as a full bug net, except for it's just on one end. Now with the half bug net under the ridge line, it comes with a small carabiner that you hook onto the ridge line, but the problem is when you slide it up and down, it does not hold. So what you need to do is get a small piece of cordage in diameter, like zing it or latch it, right around the length of 10 inches, 25 centimeters, and tie it into a loop. You lay it over the ridge line, hold one side and bring the other around and through 3 times, and tighten the knot evenly. To move the knot, you slide it up and down the ridge line. When there's pressure on the Prescott knot, it will tighten up. Then you attach a small carabiner to the loop. You climb in and tighten that knot over you. In front of the bug net, there's some mesh material. You just let it drape down on you. Now my legs are exposed, but I would have it in a sleeping bag or a top quilt, and my top half would be covered with this bug net, and I'd be protected from the biting insects. So on a hot day, I could open up my sleeping bag or top quilt and I can regulate the heat. Now if you're an ultralight hiker and you want to lighten the load, this is the way to go. Now with the bug net pulled back at the head end, I can have an open hammock and get a nice breeze and enjoy it. And when I'm being attacked by those biting insects, I grab that Prescott knot and I slide it down and zip up. Zip. And sorry mosquitoes, get your blood from somewhere else. The half bug net weighs 3 ounces, 85 grams to help lighten the load. Both bug nets will work with any of the Superior Gear hammocks. It's interchangeable no matter the length, a 10-footer or 11-footer. The Starlight also has an innovative snap system with multiple snaps running on both sides. The snap system is designed for options, and one of the options is a wind protector. And they work great if you're using an underquilt. You first connect the 2 ends. Then you put it underneath the underquilt. And there's little snaps you just snap onto the hammock. So when the snaps on the wind protector do not match the snaps on the StarLite Hammock, what you do instead of taking it off and switching it around, I just take it down and turn it inside out. But when you do it this way, you'll have to turn the material inside and then the snaps will match and you snap it in. Just snap in the sides and now you have a tight fit, which will stop that cold air from sneaking in, which will steal that warmth from underneath you. And it also protects your expensive underquilt from getting wet from a terrible rainstorm with high winds. Now there's a tight seal with no gaps in here with the snap system. And on the end, it's tightly conformed to the hammock. There's no gaps. There is no cold wind coming in this hammock. I'm going to be nice and toasty warm tonight. Or for the snap. Now the snaps are made of plastic, not steel, so you have to be careful. You gotta undo them one at a time. Just don't rip off those wind protectors. An old Marine Corps saying is if you take care of your gear will take care of you. Hoorah! Now where the Starlight really shines over its big brother, the Superior Hammock with a built-in underquilt that you can't remove. When you have an underquilt underneath your Starlight on those hot summer days or night, and it's just too hot to sleep, all you do is you take the underquilt and you move it off to the side. Now with the underquilt off to the side, now I have circulating air going all around me to keep me nice and cool. Now on a hot night, you're in the hammock, you got that circulating air going around you, nice cool breeze, you're cooling off. Now you start getting chilled. All you do is you take the underquilt, put it underneath you. It's a good little trick for you guys. Now for me, the coolest option that Superior Gear has is the Superior Comforter Multi-Quilt, which converts into a full-length underquilt. To attach it, you have to find the baffle that's on the end, and that will go on the foot end. The head end of the Starlight will have the Superior Gear logo on it. Then you take the suspension and attach it to the hammock suspension. Start with the first two snaps and then snap away on both sides. Now it's perfectly fitted to the hammock with no gaps for cold air to sneak in. Now I believe this is the best underquilt system. Like the wind protector, it's completely sealed on the sides and on the end. No matter how I shift around or move around, do the crappie flop, it is always in perfect form. It doesn't shift. And you guys, if I was to take someone out that never hammock camped before, this is the underquilt I'd have for them because it's bomb-proof. I wouldn't have to worry about them getting cold. With other underquilts underneath, they always shift around, move around, and you always have to adjust them. When you get in and out of the hammock, for whatever reason, say you're going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, when you get out and get back in, the underquilt will shift around, which will leave your feet hanging over the 3/4 length underquilt, providing no protection, because now that your feet are not over the underquilt, which would provide warmth, now they'll end up getting cold. Adjust the underquilt the other side over my shoulder. When it's hot out, you can unsnap the Superior Comforter and put it off to the side. Otherwise, you can just snap off some of the ends and it can hang open. Now with the snaps mostly undone on the Superior Comforter, now I have cool air going through the bottom there. Now you really don't have to get out of this hammock to snap it back in. Just stay right in, snap away. But I really like to unsnap it completely, put it off to the side. This is a really cool system. You know what? I think I'm gonna take another nap again. See you guys. Oh. The Superior Comforter Multi-Quilt comes in a regular size and an extra long size. And it also has different temperature ratings and downfills. So don't look at me, look at those ratings. Well, I don't blame you, but look at those ratings. I really love the Superior Comforter Multi-Quilt, but another option that I really love is the Cocoon system. Now this is great for those cold nights, or if you want to go winter camping, you attach it on the same zipper system that you use for the bug net. You go to the foot end, lift up that fabric, find the zipper, zip in that side, then you zip in the other side, take the two ends and zip it down. The Cocoon only zips halfway, and either you can lay it over you, the other half at the head end, If it gets too hot, I can regulate the heat by lifting it up or putting it off on the sides. Or those little snaps, you can snap it in. Another option that you can use is the half bug net. Instead of hanging under it, you put it over the top and zip it in. Now this way, with the half bug net zipped all the way down, I can take the other half of the cocoon that's not zipped and tuck it in the side, and it really seals it up because it won't fall out because the bug net will keep it in. Oh, it is hot. Things I do for you guys. I'm sweating in there. A misconception is people think that a bug net will allow a breeze to pass through it easily. But the truth is, I believe it blocks 80% of that breeze from coming in. So I think this might be a good choice for winter camping with this Cocoon system. I think the air coming in, it might help with the condensation. I'll be checking this out this winter. Stay tuned. The Cocoon comes in two temperature ratings, of 50 degrees, which is 10 Celsius, and a 40 degrees, which is 4 Celsius. And like the StarLite Hammock and the Superior Comforter multi-quilt, you can get it in an elite model also, which will lighten the load by 5 ounces, 141 grams. Now you have a 4-season hammock, and with the many options to upgrade, this is why I believe it's the best hammock for someone starting out for the first time. Let me explain. First, what you need to do is figure out what you're going to use it for. If you are an ultralight hiker or someone that backpacks, puts a lot of miles on, then you want the elite StarLite Hammock. But now if you're just a backpacker that doesn't put so many miles on, or a camper, then you just want the standard StarLite. And when you first get that StarLite Hammock, what you want to do is get in there and practice getting comfortable, practice on the sag, practice on getting that asymmetrical lay and find that sweet spot, and then take it, bring it in the backyard, take a nap, take it to the park, and test it out to see if you're comfortable in it and to see if it's going to work for you. If you find this works for you, the next step is to sleep overnight. And what you want to do is get a bug net, a half bug net for the hikers that are going to put on the miles, otherwise a full bug net for the camper. And then you also get a mat or an air mattress and a sleeping bag. Most people that have tent camped over the years are going to have that. If you don't have one, borrow it and try it out to make sure this is going to work for you. You take the mattress or the mat and you lay it asymmetrical in the hammock. Then you take the sleeping bag, you open it up and put it on top of the mat or mattress. Climb in and zip up. I think there's a better way of using a sleeping bag. What you do is zip it down till there's 18 inches left in the foot end to make a foot box. You put it in the hammock, flip it over, and you climb in and use it as a top quilt. And you tuck in the sides. Then what you want to do is take it in the backyard, sleep overnight in it, dial it in, and see that and make sure that it works for you. And when you're ready, then I would take it out camping overnight and then work on it and see if this is the system that's going to work for you instead of tent camping. So after a night of great sleeping, you decide I'm going to go hammock camping, I'm going to ditch that tent. And then what you want to do, the next option, is get the Superior Comforter multi-quilt and ditch that mat. Now this is so much better. When you get into StarLite with those mat mattresses, they will move around on you. But with the Superior Comforter multi-quilt, it will never shift around. So when you're ready to move on, take that next step, I highly recommend getting the Superior Comforter multi-quilt. It is a good investment, and the warmth, whew, I'll show you guys. And you want to keep that sleeping bag and use it this time and from now on as a top quilt. Now you got a great hammock system. You can go anywhere and probably 4 seasons some states or countries. Otherwise, if you really want to get into the cold temperatures, the next thing I would think about is getting a Cocoon system for winter camping, and now you're ready to take on those cold temperatures. Now you can see how versatile this hammock can be. There's two other options that Superior Gear offers to really deck out your hammock. And the first one is a corner pocket. They have little carabiners on each end, and you can store stuff in there. It's kind of like a gear sling, and there's little snaps so you can snap it, hold it shut in there. Then you take this corner pocket, you bring it all the way down the ridge line, and you attach it to the loop on the ends. Now they're out of the way, and you can put two of them on, one on each end. Really slick. I like to keep my gear inside the hammock, which makes it a lot easier, and this is really a good option. So think about it. The next option is really inexpensive, and it's also, I think it's really a good one. These are those glow zipper pulls. This little end glows in the dark. You attach them to your zipper, which makes zipping and unzipping much easier, especially during the night. Now for colors. The bottom material of the StarLite Hammock only comes in gray, but the top material, the Superior Comforter Multi-Quilt, the Cocoon, now they come in sky and royal blue, orange, and also charcoal, which is gray, and my favorite, camo. And one last option I'd like to share with you, because a lot of people ask me, they now have snake skins for your tarp. So now you can get them at Superior Gear. Snake skins, hold your tarp up. Watch out, they can be dangerous. Now, to have a fair and honest review, you have to have cons. And the only cons I can think of is, well, I like my hammocks to be a little wider, but I've had this for 2 years and I slept great in it, so I don't know if that's really a con. I have to think of something, you guys. Now, if you're looking for a new and different hammock, especially if you have the big brother, the Superior Hammock, or you just want to try to use a hammock for the first time, go out hammock camping, I highly recommend the Superior Gear StarLite Hammock. Well, this ends this episode. If you like this video, please hit the like button down below. It really does help the channel. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell notification up there, that icon, and that'll notify you when the next episode comes out. So if you have any questions or comments, please write it down below. I love to hear from you. This is the Marine. Thank you for watching, and God bless.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it